So thanks everyone for being here. I just wanted to say that there's probably something inside of this message that is made for you, and I hope that you can find that reason, just as I've had to find a lot of reason for my own life. So be very careful about these dangerous people who want to live in the spirits of very low vibration. They'll find your life up in smoke, as though every single turn that you've been able to make inside of your life to become yourself can just be stages set inside to be weaponized against you. So when you try to rewrite your own story and digging up from the places that they want you in, or places that you find yourself in, you have to dig yourself up from that ground. And sometimes you get lost in the battle of feeling as if you're in the lost and found, and no one's there to claim you. So you have to really be intuitive about the sound of your prayers, the sound of your words that you choose to take to lift yourself back up, to plant your feet solid up on that ground. So don't lose your footing. I know for myself, I just wanted to move on. I wanted to find myself and have things in my life fall into place and into alignment, where instead of letting me escape their controls and their clutches that they took over my life and that they had placed over my life for their very own fears that weren't seen before, that now I could see, and I could place times all throughout my life that they led me straight into doubt, casting aside for years on end the mental constructs that were there by their own creation, obviously, but wanting to place an otherworldly value on what they had been doing to me the entire time, to keep me poisoned and misaligned so bad that I was just supposed to be staying blind to their crime, blind to what they would do to me. And it kept me fighting something in my life, like almost feeling as if I'm fast asleep, or as if being fast asleep on yourself, your truest self and your truest nature. So it really hurts coming out of these dark places, because this is a jealous and envious spirit, and it's going to enrage you at places throughout your life when you're, if they're utilizing any kind of sorcery or witchcraft that's biological, to control your life and to aim to take your life down. So where the angels have seen it in my life, they would see them secretly praying for my downfall, and how it hides in the backgrounds of smiles that you wouldn't always be able to see without the discernment. So we pray on heavy discernment that can come only from the Lord, because their hearts are filled with the fire you just don't have time for. They watch every single move you make, and they can't stand to see how you can even rise through some of the storms that they've created. But how that their eyes slant, or how their eyes tell you a different story. They watch you in your every single move, and how you still glow in front of them is the worst part, that they feel as though your blessings can't happen, or that somehow they want them to belong to them and not to you, when they belong to you. Every part of your blessing of being, every part of your blessing of being able to capacitate your own mind's values, your own inner heart, and your own inner soul, every single piece that is given over unto you by the Lord, and gifts and talents, all of those things belong to you and not to somebody else. So this message is supposed to hit home against those who feel so jealous and want to take envy inside of other people's lives, and also for those that have to live with the dangerous places that these things can create, where it hides. But the worst part is that it's hard to see through these people when they're blocking your every last path that you can try to take. And sometimes, even when they did block your path, you might have even noticed it and noticed where it had come from, and you just didn't want it so bad that you were able to forgive and let bygones be bygones and continue to move forward. Before long, not even having the memory at all about what these people would do to you to keep you locked down to the main, basically, of your whole reality. Playing these charades and games over your entire life that kept you striving, kept you barely surviving. But you kept trying to glow anyway, and you kept trying to go on anyway. And that's sometimes the hardest part for them to even come to understand, that your glow, your shine, your ability to capacitate your own mind, not being incapacitated by everything that they wanted to do, but by being able to see through it so that you could glow and you could grow in exponential ways. Because something magnificent should come your way. And it's the revelation that you need to know. Because of all of that you were carrying through all of the spirits that could leave all of these harsh tones all over your life. The heavens angels step in, and they can't bear what's happening to you. So when you're in front of these people can't bear the mirror of what you're showing to them, of who you actually are and where you're trying to be. And they can't bear it so much that they don't want to see it. They don't want to see you for who you are, and so they want to block you. The envy that they take into your life in that way is the reasons that you need to heal from. And it's because every time you stand up, their insecurities not only grow larger and larger, but you become more and more aware of those who they pretend to be, and where they pretend to deeply care, who are quick to act in any kind of way to celebrate you and to celebrate your getting out of the very situations, especially that they have been casting over into your life, because oftentimes they're hiding something massive. And I would deserve something massive in the opposite way of the blessings that could crash into my life, because those things to me feel right, And it's not out of like anger towards these people, and it's not through vengeance towards these people, but rather through this is my ability, realizing your ability, this is my ability, this is how I want to move, and this is how I'm going to move, and making it your acute point that this is what you're going to do now, and this is what you're going to be working on now. Because what becomes clear is the ways that they made you feel just before you came to discovery of that heaviness that they had shifted inside of your energy before you were ever even allowed to succeed in the first place. They liked it, in other words, while you were in doubt. They liked it, in other words, while you were in fear, or you were being hurt, or you were in pain. They liked it that way because then they could continuously play you small and get away with it. So they're jealous through everything that was set up for a reaction to take place in your life, to take you out from underneath that very weighty display and even weightier way that they wanted to prevent you so badly. They wanted to set up your own body and mind and your own life to work against itself. So they wouldn't care what would have come of you, what would have happened to you, what you were to go through. They wouldn't have even cared so much so as if to suggest to others even that they wanted you to die. And it was for reasons that they could create through their affairs, create through their madness, and leaving you in a place of biological control. So even if they're able to move about somebody's life to create another worldly event, per se, out of your character, and you're completely taken out of character and out of your availability to yourself, they had no right. They had no right to try and take personal control over areas of your life, to biologically control you. And yes, I'm getting at a very calculated poisoning as far as what's happened with myself. But they wanted my mind and body to work against me. So they hated my light because it was cleaner. It was innocent. And they took my clean innocence and they annihilated it with their own intent so that they could see any place of my courage, and they didn't like it. They didn't want me to have a place to stand and go through what they wanted me to have, or what they wanted for me to have, and to hurt me in the worst ways. They wanted to not notice. They wanted me to never notice how they truly felt about me, because it's their intelligent design, or whatever, however you want to say it, to like literally try and hack away my light or anybody's light, to steal it away from them. So under any circumstances at all, their masks are about to come off, because it would reveal everything that's been hidden behind their fake smiles, all of the comparisons behind my back, and all of the subtlety that they took in trying to underestimate me and my spirit. So they took my kindness for being naivety, and I noticed everything, even if I couldn't tolerate the coldness at the time, or where it was coming from at the time, being so close to me, and being the same people that I loved, same people that I wanted to rise up with. So I had to work really hard. They weren't just going to be able to hide away the news, no matter what it was, to come to me. Because I wanted to accelerate my availability to me, to the truest nature of me, while all they wanted to do is leave me in a position of total isolation, even within the relationships by design, even within the poisons that they would get inside of my body, and even inside of places, to not allow me to transform away from the energy and get this energy out of my life forever. They wanted me to be stuck in it forever. So I felt inside something bigger is happening, and it's owned by the Most High, God. Because nothing of their own control can supersede what God has to bring to the table, so they can think of trying to rip the keys away from Jesus as to where my grave is, but they can't. They can try and control other areas of my life to take over my energy in all that I had to better for myself than they wanted for me to do and wanted for me to show. So they can't feel happy for me. They can't just simply celebrate my existence and be happy for me. And that's why I needed to see them for who they were long before I was actually able to figure it out, because it almost took my life. That someone could be that jealous of what I had that isn't allowing me to be able to take capacity of my own mind and my own skills in life. So it's very shameful what they did to me, and what people that are envious and jealous of others will do to you out here in this world. But if it doesn't have to be taken into the ways that are corruptible, rather, people who just normally feel that usually want better for themselves as well. But the people that they feel that jealousy for, they can leave all envious actions out of the picture. You can legitimately be happy for somebody even though you don't feel like you have that, or that you have the ability to get there. You can literally just be happy for those people. You don't have to be envious and destructive and create destructive patterns inside of a person's life simply because they want to feel something better for themselves than another wants to feel for their own lives as to what's being possible. And yeah, I'm talking about the love of others and the love of your own self. If they don't want to love you correctly, they don't want to be in that covenant type of description of what the Lord had made love for, then they don't have any place inside of your life moving forward. When people in general feeling certain ways and running into this low vibration of jealousy and envy, they can think about it for a little bit, like, how can I get there? And, how could I do that? How could I better myself to be there? But these people legitimately think, how can I terrorize that person's life so that I can do better for myself regardless of what they do? And that's where these hidden motives and actions from their envies and from their jealousies get in the way of the energy of somebody that's innocent and somebody that might not know the full length of where these people are willing to go and take your life down into the depths of that type of hell. And it's literally because some of these people have real wicked intentions hidden behind all that they truly are. So I just wanted to speak on the facts here about how to see these things before people end up hurting your life. Because I can't separate myself from where it's led me emotionally. And it's hard because of wherever I had literally came into that light and had that light come back into myself. It wasn't like I thought that, oh, my friend was going to poison me, or oh, this person was going to get involved and poison me, or just any of the areas of my life that they were literally staging in the silences of my life because of who these people truly were. Because they were wicked. They were wicked. It's wicked to even think of getting away with something that's that monstrous in front of the eyes of the Lord. That they couldn't even come to me to speak directly to me. They had to come to speak directly at me. They couldn't come to help me physically, but they only came to hurt my physiology. And so you're seeing yourself the abused target of their envy and jealousy, and you can't handle it because on the emotional level, because it's coming from the very same people that you had loved all along, and you just never wanted that to be the true outcome of your life. You think like maybe as a young person that sure there's some hatred and jealousy and envy that people can display, but you never think to yourself that this is going to actually take over your whole life, especially coming from your brothers, family members, close friends, relationships. So they were sensing my energy before it even started to heal and tried to stop it. They saw my confidence returning back to me and they couldn't handle it. And not because they feared me, but because they were uncomfortable with me being able to rise up from the clutches of their control. So now that's their light becoming too bright and too steady to where their jealousy turns, that they're trying to make in these envious attacks, twist into a silent panic that you can visually see now for what it is. Because they ought to be scared of their own future when they're literally scaring off your blessings that you can create to even take any kind of blessing into their life. Because they don't want you aligned in yourself, and they don't want you aligned with the Most High. So they would try to act normal as though nothing was changed when there were things changed, and it hid and lied and wait like a lion stalking its prey. And all I did was I wanted to get away from them. And all I did was want to get away from covert abuse, not knowing at times where it was even coming from. So learning where it was coming from, it really shook me to the core when my friend said to me, "Good luck getting anyone to believe you," as though they had already had plans in motion that were bulletproof to take me out, never allowing me to see them for who they truly are, or even having something available for me to be able to even see it or see through it. Like my own mentality at times, as the memories would slip away from what you would have once observed before, and me having many places of that memory coming back to me, and having come back to me in full scale. It's much like visualizing that whole roller coaster all over your whole life and realizing, you mean to tell me that roller coaster was all created by you and you fucks? That's a lot of heartache. That's a lot of heartache. That's not just the heart itself fighting like it is. That's legitimately that heart fighting, and that emotional heart literally trying to strive through something that's just so murky and so dark. Because I stopped seeking their validation and I started to seek my own power now, because I wasn't going to back down from this fight, because this was my own heart, my own born to be pure intention that I was fighting through and fighting for. While these people have been acting so strange with their own actions that have been leading me into these estranged places in my life, so as to hope that I had nothing to go on, that no one could evolve or glow up from the places that they were leading me into, to stop my blessings, to stop me from evolving out of this, because they needed to have that control in my life. But I needed to have some piece of my own life after all of the times and areas of my life being ripped away from me. So they observed me becoming stronger, and every time that something about them felt threatened by my evolution, they couldn't stand how I was able to still choose to still shine and just try and shine up brightly after all that they did to ensure my downfall. So I decided to heal from it, because I didn't want to be able to walk, or because I wanted to be able to walk in my own power. I didn't want them to be able to take away that power from my energy. I wanted to somehow make it to be unstoppable within my prayers and my values to amplify against their amplified efforts made to take me out. I amplified prayers, they amplified effort, and eventually I could see clear through their actions that didn't match their words, and their presence began to feel heavier and heavier than what they would ever show, because they didn't love me, they didn't care. It was some of the hardest things for me to recognize, to spot those gaps between my own soul and my trying to elevate, to help me reach out for myself and to just validate myself, because it was hard to maneuver after all that they did to take me out. I noticed all of the tension, all of the shifts of energy around me, all of the shifty behaviors, and even them not being able to celebrate me after everything that I had gone through told me that these people were right where they wanted to be, to not allow me any which way out that I could find, because they were carrying some of the heaviest secrets in the backgrounds of my life. They were trying to literally steal my life away from me in all avenues of it, so that I wasn't able to even live out my own normal life. So I even spotted where they would imitate my life, literally, through hacking me. I would also spot where they would imitate my words through places like what Jesse did, literally using them psychologically, using my own words that he had gotten from me psychologically to create that heavy effect of gaslighting me in my mind, or creating the duplicity in me in my mind. And I called him out for it right when he did it here anyway. There's many other times, but when he did it to me here, I already knew he had this information, and he was the one that actually got me into the spots to get my stuff, to take my stuff. These people are literally leeches. They work like vultures. They literally want you to go homeless while they themselves can come in the dark of your life to take every last little thing away from you, and to clean you out of your own internal energies so that you can't even see it for what it is. The crime happening deeper on these levels, to be able to face the storm of this type of fashion, it's just sick. So they knew at points that my light was not normal, but I also knew that their caring in certain aspects of showing me love was not clean energy. It didn't come from a loyal heart. Instead, it staked me out in order to steal out my blessings and move to try and determine my path. So I'll carry on to another section of this. This one's gotten longer than I wanted it to go. But I really hope that people see these things when people are trying to exactly get the truth for something that's happening in their life, and they feel a direct approach from other people that's like they're trying to block you from seeing through what their intentions are. So this is just supposed to be able to help you realize some of those things, I hope, and that you can actually turn your life around. Don't let them keep you spun up on the upside down. You deserve better. Your world shouldn't be held in such a way that's like upside down and backwards and flipped inside out. No, you should be flipped right side in, and you should be on solid ground, able to go forward in your life the way you, in your light and in your heart, so choose to want to move. So this message is for those people that are out here fighting through insurmountable things that maybe they still can't see happening in their lives. Till next time, God bless, and hope you're taking care of yourselves.